Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. And in the news right now, Iran, there's a question of whether Iran is going to retaliate for the assassination of their top nuclear scientist. I did a video previously about that, and I wanted to reiterate something that is very important and go into that in greater depth. Our organization is calling for a ban on nuclear power. And this is going to be resisted very, very vehemently by people who rely on nuclear power for their energy and for their defense, their nuclear power. There's new technology coming out now where there's very small, like nuclear reactors that can fit into buildings and other large structures. So the basis for that is the nuclear power and fission and I'm not an expert on this by any means. But what I'm going to explain to you from the perspective of why we have to ban nuclear power and certain other forms of technology. Our organization is calling for a technology review. One of the problems that we have before technology review before new technology can be introduced. And the reason for it is oftentimes the economic structure that is based on this new technology is so powerful and so prevailing, and that it just pushes through without people being able to have a voice to stop it or to understand the ramifications of it. Okay, so before any new technology is introduced, we believe that there should be a time period when people can object to it and come up with reasons for it, that it just has to go through this review on a global basis. And that's why this is part of the technology segment. There's technology now that seems to be really, really great. It's the undersea mining. We're going to have an ocean symposium to debate this idea. So when, for example, this undersea mining, the oceans work as a battery, and it stores the sunlight. If you remove the electrolytes from a battery and you continue to pump energy into it, it gets hot. So all these areas where undersea mining seems to be the great idea for supporting all these, getting as a source for minerals, the rare earth minerals, then where is it going to come from? If our new technology is let's say based on mines, the Pebble mine up in Alaska recently was the court struck down the idea of mining, opening up that mine. What happens when there's not enough minerals and the planet, mankind, is dependent on this great big huge structure that cannot be unraveled when all this information is found? So it's a little bit too late at that time period, and the people who believe they have the right to do this, to mine under the sea, under the oceans for these precious minerals, then in court, then it's like a battle between the environmentalists and the people who believe that they have the right to do this. Okay, so I would like to, since Iran is in the news right now, we'll come back to the undersea mining shortly, and the Ocean Symposium. That's one of our first proposals, the first year's proposals. I'd like to talk now about why we have to ban nuclear power, and that's been around for for quite a long time, since the 1930s and 40s, when it was used as a weapon against, in Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and then the creation of the nuclear power plants, and then the big problem with the tsunami, the earthquake and the tsunami from Japan, and the plastics that are in the gyre, all that. So the environment is a closed ecosystem. Our world is a closed ecosystem, and what happens in one place affects us all. So we all must have a right. We all must have we have the right to live in a pristine environment as one of our unalienable rights, and then we have the right to have a voice in our government, that if we know something from our own personal experience that something is not good, or it can't pass cultural review, then it needs to be stopped until all the glitches are resolved. It has to be thought out well enough so that we can pull out of any kind of thing once it's established. Okay. Now, this is something that I'm going to explain about our what we learned at the prayer circle. Okay. The scientists are studying the smallest subatomic particles and making great progress. There's a great deal of research being done on that. But the scientists haven't come up yet with the true nature of the atom, what it actually is. Now, I'm going to explain that I'm not a scientist. I studied science in school a long time ago. Things have changed. Not that much. I still understand. I'm interested in science and technology. I'm technically the head of the technology department, not basically from the spiritual standpoint, and then somebody who can explain it better than I can, bridges to the people. I explain the spiritual idea, because the spiritual aspect of it, let's say there's a saying that when the scientists climb the mountain of understanding, God is sitting up at the top. Well, we're introducing the unified field theory, and I'm a theologian basically, and I'm working on my teachers given me the topics for my PhD thesis. It says that I've been teaching a long time now. It's time for me to get my degree. I'm working on my thesis now, not from an accredited university, but from my spiritual guides. Okay. And it'll my thesis will become a book that I will have published once I pass my test. Okay, so what happens is we have religion, we have not organized religion, but spirituality and religion, and science, and they lean on each other. So where the scientists and the or the scientists and the mathematicians and such are looking, and men like Albert Einstein were looking at the unified field theory, theologians already have found the unified field theory. We call the unified field theory the all that is God, the creator of us all. So we can share insights with the scientists, and the scientists can help us to know, the theologians, to know God better. So I'm not talking about the old man on the throne. I'm talking about the male and female aspects of God, which are I am that I am and Lady Gaia. That's what they call themselves. Okay? So we as spiritual people can offer insights into how this works, and then that allows both fields of study to progress on a higher level. Okay. Now, as a theologian, I'll tell you that it's kind of a common understanding that there is a God within a God within a God within a God. And I actually I'm a psychic, a channel, and I wrote a book with the prime universe, which is where we are in our evolution, we are evolving. We're third dimensional beings now that are evolving from the third dimension to the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. It's like traveling along the Fibonacci spiral and sacred geometry, and we're just, each dimension goes like in the spiral. So the caveman knew about this idea, about the principles of the cooperation of nature. When you look at that, we are the God within the God within the God is played out within the atoms, that each atom is a universe and subject to universal law, our Creator's universe. We are inside our Creator's body. We are a creation of our Creator. Okay, we are God created us, and so this explains the idea of parallel universes. It explains the idea: do they exist? Of course they do. In fact, we are part of parallel universes. We are part of Lady Gaia's body, and I am that I am. They're basically working together, male and female. We are made in God's image, and they explain all the structures that we're looking at. So when the problem with nuclear power is, under universal law, when we destroy, what you do to somebody else will be done to you. If you destroy a universe, then you invite the same thing back on yourself. Okay, so we have to ban nuclear power, because otherwise we are about to destroy ourselves. Now, this is not a judgment from God. This is not God's wrath coming down on us. God doesn't judge anybody. But what happens is, it's just a logical ultimate conclusion of all the games that are being played. Okay, so we are looking at this idea of, let's say, we are looking at the idea, like I said at the beginning of the video, if we are looking at undersea mining, and some business entity believes that they have the right to do that because they bought all this equipment, and the United Nations has given them a contract to be able to do that, and or like Russia or the United States believes that they can do it with impunity. What happens then? It's not a judgment on anybody that says that God is going to send lightning bolts like Zeus sent his lightning bolts out. No, basically what it is the logical ultimate conclusion of this. And the people who are playing the power games from the third dimension, who are functioning for their own interests, are going, I can do this. I have the right to do this. I can take this to court. I've invested all this money in this idea, and basically it just backlashes on the people. We have our constitutional rights as Americans. The Constitution gives us rights, but we also have our unalienable rights that are given to us by our Creator. And the reason that we have these unalienable rights is because we have an agreement, what's called a soul agreement, with our Creator to fulfill our purpose in life. Our purpose in life is not to go through and see, that old joke about the one who has the most toys when he dies wins. We don't have to prove our worth or whatever by having a lot of money in the bank. That's not how our soul agreement works with our Creator. We're here to solve the problems, to enable our planet to function on a higher level. We're making our ascension right along with Lady Gaia and I am that I am to the ultimate conclusion of our evolution. So when you take somebody who's functioning, let's say, for their own interests, it's pulling everybody backwards, let's say, in our evolution. It's still moving forwards, but we're kind of like putting the brakes on everything. We don't want to destroy the planet. That's the prophecy that we got. If we don't stop undersea mining, we wipe life off the planet. If we don't ban nuclear power, we destroy our universe based on universal law. So, if you would like to argue with me, I'm going to tell you something that you're welcome at any time to talk to the Creator. You can. There are many people who talk to God and get answers back. You're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to go, and you're welcome to check out the science behind this. I recommend that you do that. You don't have to necessarily. How can we evolve if we are stuck in this idea of destruction? Our Creator is creative. God, the Creator of us all, doesn't destroy things. So destroying atoms in a nuclear reactor goes opposite to what our Creator is doing. Our Creator is creative. So, in other words, what we have now is a technological review idea. I'm standing up and I'm saying, no more undersea mining, no more nuclear power, no more fission. Now, you can talk about the sun. You can talk about how that happens on the sun. But God created the sun. So we don't know why that is the way it is. We don't know what fission and fusion is and why it's part of this idea. We don't know. I have a feeling that there is a lot more to this because there is, this is something that you're welcome to ask questions when I can answer the questions again. I need to have 2 more channels. I'm going through my tests. I need to have 2 more channels who are willing to work with me. And I think the reason for that is because, hey, when I say something like this, I don't know anything about technology and you don't trust me, and hey, I understand that. But if we have a group channeling session where we have three channels together, and people can ask any question that they want, something that is way beyond us in our capacity. Like I said, I don't know very much about technology. I just know that how it works from the spiritual aspect of it because I've studied that myself. Okay, so you'll be welcome to ask questions about this, and then I hope to be able to bring together some other channels, and then what we will do is we will have our group channeling sessions online, and people like a live session, and you'll be able to ask any questions that you want. Okay, so please, if you have any sort of technological understanding about theoretical physics, mathematics, theology, share this with your family and friends and your science teachers, and take it to anyone you want, and prove me wrong or prove me right. Share it with other people, and we're going to raise our voices and be heard because we have the right to do that. We have the right to live in a pristine environment. Okay? So share with other people, and then like, that allows us to get the word out, that, and then subscribe, and then share on social media to join the debate. Whatever it is, join the debate. Get the word out and let people know what's going on. Okay? Share the debate on technological review and on the idea of banning nuclear power and also undersea mining. And we'll go into that when the technology team comes and works with us, when we do the government proposals for all these things. There's going to be an ocean symposium and an ocean newsletter. The people who are experts in the oceans are going to assume responsibility for that. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have my voice.